Welcome to the Public Speaking Podcast. I'm Matt and I bring the art of public speaking.
And I'm Emma and I talk about the business of public speaking.
And we're here to host conversations about both those things. We've got Beth with us today, a good friend and collaborator of mine. How you doing?
Oh, great. Thanks. Excited for you guys for launching this podcast.
Definitely. We're well happy. Busy day today, recording lots of episodes. You've got a cool angle. So we're really excited about talking about it. What's your story? So tell us a little bit about what you do, and why you're here to speak to us today.
Most of my career has been working in sustainability, copywriter these days, corporate sustainability copywriter. And then we met around 4 years ago, didn't we, Matt?
I think it was,
4 or 5 years ago.
Online.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could say that I am a reluctant public speaker. Around that time, I had been really looking at actually what do I want to do with the next chapter of my life and business. And I had a sense of what that was. But up until that point, even writing for myself in my own voice, let alone speaking, had been a real block for me, something I'd avoided my whole life. And I just knew that I needed to tackle it. So the business at the time that I wanted to work on, I mean, we're all really aware of the mental health challenges faced by young people at the moment.
Yeah.
And I have a very personal story around that. And I have lived experience of self-harm. And I knew that I really have a lot that I could share on that to help people. And if I didn't tackle my fear of public speaking, that was never going to happen. So yeah, I didn't ever do it because I had a passion or an ambition to be up on stage, but it was more a block to actually the purpose that I was feeling drawn to. So we connected because at the time you were running a 6-point speaker program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it, the online.
Yeah.
The post-COVID online version, that was it, yeah.
That was my first ever real public speaking training, and I can't say it was comfortable, but it felt super safe, the small group of us really just for the first time ever, just using my voice and being really authentic with it.
Prior to that, had you had much experience telling your story, or was this still the first foray?
So I had quite a deep-seated fear of visibility, I would say, that started young. I played grade 7 piano at the age of 15.
Wow.
But I would only do it if the house was empty. I definitely couldn't do it if anyone was in the room, even close family members. I managed around 35 people when I was in my late 20s. So I was really quite capable, but actually using my voice and being seen was very uncomfortable. Did not like team meetings. A couple of times I'd been almost forced into doing a presentation at a conference. I hated that. It's like a blank memory for me now. I really was not in a connected state at all. And my work now is very much around educating people about how our nervous system works and our biology, and really taking the theory that we're taught but applying it to our everyday experience. And that has totally changed my life. And it's what I bring to this discussion, really, isn't it, around self-harm? And that's really what I bring to the work we do together, and particularly the training that we help run, public speaking, and just helping people to believe that it's possible and that you can work with your nervous system and your biology to overcome fears.
I'm hearing from you guys a lot of the issue is more around physiology and sort of controlling your body and your natural instincts, rather than sort of shying away from having purpose and intent in what you're doing and wanting to kind of use your story to, create a business, but also to help other people. And where do you see some of those barriers creep in? When you were working together on your intensive, what did you work through first? What was something that was eye-opening for you?
I think one thing we see when we work with people again and again, we are all human. We have the same human design, and fear of judgment, fear of being seen is there for everyone, whether or not they feel it really deeply or they've dealt with it. It is there in some way for everyone. It's part of being human. And when we recognize that and stop, for a start, beating ourselves up about it and thinking it's actually a weakness of ours and see it for exactly what it is, understand it for exactly what it is, then we can learn the tools to start working with it. whether that is to go back and look at the beliefs that underpin it, things, the experiences we might have had when we were younger, cultural beliefs, then looking at actually what happens in the body and the nervous system when we are feeling unsafe.
Yeah.
And the tools that we can use in the moment. And also then the ways that we can train our nervous system. And I've done it little by little, like really gently, but you gradually expand your capacity for what feels safe, comfortable, possible. So I am not at TED Talk yet, but a few years ago, soon, a few years ago, even doing this podcast would never have happened. And I would say probably a year ago, I would have felt that I needed to control everything. So I have not prepared for this, which I'm super proud of.
Yeah.
I would prepare if it was a big talk, but this is, a comfortable conversation. So I've not prepared. I've got a busy day. That's okay. I didn't cancel everything else. The old me would have felt like I needed to control everything.
And in doing that, I mean, I think sometimes also people trip up if it's sort of over rehearsed, over perform, it becomes performative, it loses some of its meaning, also the joy. And then I think that's when people's messages don't land, or it doesn't say sort of true and authentic. And I think half the battle of sort of showing up, whether that's on stage or in your business and your outward comms, getting clear with how you feel about things yourself and how you manage that is also how other people are going to feel about you, right? It's reciprocated.
Definitely.
So that's really interesting. And I certainly see that with a lot of people that I work with, founders, entrepreneurs that perhaps really good at doing these things internally, are very creative. But when it comes to pulling it out and getting sort of succinct in your story and comfortable with sharing those things, that's when things can get stuck. So in terms of, little quick wins, is there any advice that you have that could really help people to take a beat and move through that initial fear, even if it's that first step in contacting someone like Matt and saying, hey, I really want to do this? That can be quite a brave step to make.
Yeah, definitely. It takes courage. One of the things I would say is to believe that it's possible. So that's partly why I love sharing my experience here, because it is so possible, but you have to take the first step. And we only get one life, don't we? So I really knew that I did not want to spend this one life hiding and not using my voice and not saying things that I would like to say. So that gave me the kind of commitment to do it. And the people we have coming to our public speaking intensive that we run, they come from all walks of life. And we do
Gosh, you've had such a range, haven't we? Yeah.
So business owners, people who work in political circles, but then also people who've retired and are doing things in their community. It's lovely. So the belief thing, and then the small steps, and find places that you feel safe to start. Because with the nervous system work, our nervous system doesn't respond well to being forced. We need to go gently, step by step, and start to show our nervous system that we're safe. Our nervous system is kind of like an internal operating system that is kind of in charge of all of our behaviors and our responses. Super powerful, and we forget that, which is why I'm so passionate about teaching that to people. And we need to treat it kindly.
Yeah.
And start to show it that I can do this, nothing happened to me, I'm fine. And then you do something a little more. And I would love far more people who experience public speaking as I did to start doing this, because this world we're now living in, it kind of rewards people who are more comfortable, doesn't it? Being on social media, getting out there. But then I see so many amazing, intelligent, powerful people who are not doing that. And so their work isn't being heard.
Yeah, I really hear you on that.
There's a mismatch right now.
Yeah, definitely. Like over and over again. I mean, people we work with, people who come to me in my one-to-one practice, half of the problem is that they've been shown this world, that's all polished and glossy online and, professional and corporate and perfect. And that's not who they are. And that's not who we are as humans. We're all, I love your business name, lovely messy humans. It's like, if we can embrace all that. And a big part of the work that we always do is like, right, okay, what would it feel like if you could just be you in front of other people?
Yeah.
Just you at your messiest, you at your best, all that together. and be okay with just letting people see that. And for me, that's nearly always the biggest shift. It's like, okay, once they accept that actually, you know what, I don't have to be that version that that YouTube video says, or that version that that other coach said that everyone has to be like in order to make £1 million or whatever it is. And then once you've got that base established and they feel comfortable there, then you can kind of work on, I guess, what like I call the bells and whistles, and kind of build up from there.
Yeah. And that showing up as being you, like the whole you, feels like freedom for me. It's so much less scary than showing up and being someone you think you should be and putting on an act. The other day I presented to 40 junior doctors. I wore jeans, baggy jeans and trainers on purpose because I wanted to turn up exactly being who I am. And I was so honest about my story. So I was training these medical experts in a topic that's close to my heart. And it felt great.
And that was on a stage.
All my huge deck behind on the big screen. Yeah, I can't believe how different that felt. One of the tools I've used, I work with a technique called havening. I'm a certified havening techniques practitioner, and we can use that it combines techniques that tell our body we're really, really safe, while we either go back and look at past experiences that may have impacted us. And people talk about all sorts of things when it comes to public speaking. A bad experience standing up in class, people laughing at them, a piano exam, there's all
piece
sorts.
Of feedback given by an old, boss from a previous job or something.
Goes in, doesn't it?
Exactly. And then
Just
the other
sits with
thing
you.
you can do with this technique is use visualization to really imagine, who could I be? How could I show up? And when you use visualization, your mind doesn't really tell the difference between doing it for real and doing it in your imagination. So if you do that while your body feels totally safe, it starts to make that feel familiar, possible, even like you've already done it, you've already been there.
Yeah, that was a huge revelation for me when I found that out, that because they do it a lot in sports psychology, don't they? It's like they'll visualize, kicking that ball through the goal, or, swinging that golf stick. And I think I read an article not long ago where they'd done some like brain scans and brain activity and saw that the parts that become active when you're taking part in an activity also become active, like you say, when you visualize it. So I mean, it doesn't take a lion's stride then to see how you can connect public speaking to something like that.
Now, I presume these are all super important for sustainability as well. If you're going to be doing this a lot and people are talking on a regular basis, or, have varied audiences, and you're putting yourself out there day after day, you're going to need to avoid burnout and make sure you've learned these tools that help you to kind of sustain that. And I think a lot of people sort of fall down in thinking, right, I'm chasing this is what I wanted, and then lose that joy in it, because it does become less of a joy and more of a burden if you're putting yourself out there every day. But it sounds like there's things that we can do to kind of learn to be at peace in it and make that the normal.
Yeah.
Show up more authentically.
Yeah. And again, putting on an act and being someone you're not is exhausting, right?
Yeah.
That takes energy, and that takes away the energy you could be putting into the words you're sharing, the way you're connecting with your audience. We talk about this a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
That when your nervous system's activated, it's far harder to connect with your audience.
Yeah, because
Things
you're
don't
too
land. Yeah,
No,
if you
you're
don't
too
believe
busy.
it.
Yeah. It's just you're overcome by it, aren't you?
And I think a lot of people as well, they might technically have something great to say and it's all worked out, but in the delivery of it, if you're not at your best, or you're not comfortable and confident, then all the planning in the world, all the greatest message in the world, if it's not showing up in the right way, it's not going to land. It's not going to have an impact. That's the purpose, surely.
Definitely. And I wonder, actually, like speaking to your, I guess like the commercial business side of things. So we talk an awful lot, and particularly where we work, we of course work with, how to keep yourself within, as Beth calls it, your window of tolerance in that space. But how do you find that shows up like at the business side of things? So when you're engaging with people with their brand, how does nerves play into that side of things?
Very much in a similar way, and that might strive to be like somebody that you've seen, and you're trying to replicate somebody else or something else, or you've seen success, or you're chasing monetization. You put a lovely proposal together, it's well scoped out. You're looking at pain points, you've put your speaking fees in there and you've sent it out and you get no response, or you get a thanks but no thanks, or you get someone say, we can't offer you that fee. That's something you've worked hard on, you've honed in. That can really knock your confidence. So the typical go-to response might be, I reduce my fee, or do I do it for free, or do I change what I'm talking about? Do I come at it a different way? Do I need to change my message? But actually what you're doing is diluting that authenticity, the truth, and nerves come out in all kinds of ways. You might put something out and not get any likes on it on LinkedIn, not get any engagement, and that can really throw you out.
We've all had that post we put hours of work into and then got 31 impressions, or whatever it is.
It's a little snippet of yourself speaking, and it's nothing to do with the content. It's probably the algorithm or the time of day you posted, but it could really knock you, and you're thinking, I have a whole series of these to post out. But I think really it's about sticking to a true authentic message, and it takes time. It takes time for people to kind of find that online and in business, and like finding yourself and finding your voice on the stage.
If you're not yourself in the run up, in the prep, in how you're engaging with people, then you're almost setting up the scaffolding of not being yourself.
Yes, a vicious
when
cycle.
You're there in the moment.
I think that's audience feedback as well. So that has been massive, a part of my journey, because the feedback I get from audiences is almost more positive than how I see myself. So it's enabled me to grow in confidence each time, but really getting feedback and really listening to it.
And not taking it, it's not always going to be positive, but it's
feedback, isn't it?
It's feedback, but learning to kind of take that and learn from it, I think is super important. And that's the same, in business, whether it's a conversation and someone hasn't quite agreed with what you're doing, or whether it's something you've put online, putting yourself out there in any way is a bit daunting.
It's hard, isn't it? There's a stage, but you've also been. How did you find your first big video that you put out online?
So I put a video on LinkedIn, but I talked about how big it felt to put a video on LinkedIn. And the response, I can't remember how many hours it got. It was a short video, but when you looked at how many hours has this video been watched, it was huge, which clearly shows that connected with people. The next thing I now need to do is video that actually promotes my work. They feel quite different. Like selling is a thing, isn't it? That some of us don't feel so comfortable with.
You then have your pots of different types of content. Once you've taken that step, it's like, there's a whole more set of steps here that we now need to take. Yeah.
But I actually find video less comfortable than speaking to people. This is fine, right? We're having a conversation, 3 people. Even standing on a stage, as long as you can see people, you can always find people that are clearly loving it and just focus on them.
Yeah.
A Zoom call or an online call can be quite tricky because you can't connect so well with people. But the camera is worst of all for me because it's not a person.
That's interesting. And that you feel different doing that then. That's really interesting. Yeah. And I'm guessing you have people come to you all the time with similar viewpoint. Is there something you can do in that situation, whether it's in a virtual situation or in front of the camera, that helps to center your nervous system and give you that grounding?
Yeah, what would be, say, your top 3 tips for everyone listening and watching?
I think very similar to what we teach for public speaking. Pace, clear message, know why you're sharing what you're sharing and who it's for, and then almost imagining that person being there.
Got it. So controlling the pace, being really sure about what you want to say, and then visualizing where you are.
Yeah. And using those silences if you want to as well, because it's powerful.
Silence is power in public speaking.
Yeah. And I am no expert in this. I am on this journey. So
cool. Gosh, we could talk about this for hours, couldn't we? Okay, I guess as we kind of draw things to a close, really, tell us a little bit about where people can find you, for everyone listening.
So the best place, my website, lovelymessyhumans.com. On there, you can find out more about havening techniques. If anyone is on this journey too and would like to explore that, very happy to hear from people. I have training, nervous system literacy training for schools, colleges, and also for business. So That's on there. So yeah, my website and LinkedIn is where I'm most active.
Great. And Beth Derry,
Beth Derry.
Lovely Messy Humans is the best way to find you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth.
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much for coming online. It's been great to have you today.
More from us later.
That's it. More from us later. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. And we'll see you on the next episode.